Folks, today in the studio, the new studio, dropping bombs, let's say 2.0. Now, the good news and the bad news. The bad news is I haven't had it completely outfitted with my bomb button and my whatnot. So today I'm going to have you decide what the bombs are and put them in the comments and see if we match. I'm pretty sure this dude is going to be dropping bombs from A to Z because not only are you very entrepreneurial, he's also a sports and celebrity agent. You've been living with and around money and celebrities and fast life for a long ass time. Yes?
Yes, sir.
So I'm glad to have you here. Darren Prince, folks. Thanks for being here.
Thanks, my man. Thank you for having me.
So, dude, you're a sports and celebrity agent still to this day from like major names everyone's heard of. Can you name a few?
Magic Johnson was
Magic
my first client,
Johnson.
still is to this day. The late Muhammad Ali, Smokin, Joe Frazier, Evel, Knievel.
Hold on, stop with Muhammad. You got to hang out with Ali
I
all
got
those
pictures
years?
in the book, right in the middle.
Dude, I can't wait to read this book. By the way, folks, if you haven't got his book already, Aiming High, How a Prominent Sports and Celebrity Agent Hit Bottom at the Top. Darren Prince. This is freaking going to be a good one. And it's all obviously based on you and your life?
Based on me and my life, working with some of the most iconic sports figures and celebrities of all time, but also living a double life where I had a 24-year opiate addiction and how I went through hell and came out on the other side and celebrating 13 plus years of recovery now and using that platform that I took from, the agency life to help people now around the world.
Opiates are pills, no?
Yeah. Yep.
So you were just popping the pills to feel what?
To feel like somebody I needed to feel like that I couldn't be on my own in my own skin.
But
Yeah.
I mean, because everybody I know that takes pills gets all slurry and like what's wrong with you, bro? You're running around with celebs and making deals at this time, aren't you?
Yep.
So you must have operated fine on opiates.
Yeah, opiates, gave me my superpowers. Percocets, oxys, Vicodins.
So it picked you
They
up.
brought me to the next level to take over a room of networking. Negotiate multi-million-dollar, endorsement deals. And
Did your clients know that you were popping pills?
towards the end, the two that I really had some heart-to-hearts with were Magic and Hulk Hogan, because they knew how bad it got. Dennis Rodman knew, but Dennis was drinking, doing his thing, as everybody knows. His
He's
reputation.
popping pills too, ain't he?
So no, he actually, I would always try to get him to take some. He never had interest in it. Dennis's drug of choice was always alcohol, but to have Hulk,
women.
to have Hulk and Magic really show me the personal side. I got to know through the years Irvin Johnson and Terry Bollea, the real men that truly cared about me, and they, like I said, they stuck by me. Thank God, all my clients to this day, and they saw me turn my life around, and most importantly, use this gift that I have to help so many people suffering with mental health and substance abuse.
Dude, that's a testament to something about you, because like usually some people find out, oh damn, they're strung out on some sort of drug. It's later. So the fact that they stuck with you tells me more about them and you.
Yep.
So that's cool, man. That's cool. So where'd you pick up the addiction? Some injury or?
No, there was no excuse for it. I grew up being verbally teased, being told I had a severe learning disability from the time I was 7, 8 years old in small classrooms, and had a great family, loving mother and father and sister, but it gave me a crippling anxiety, made me feel so uncomfortable in my own skin, and it happened at sleepaway camp at 14 years old in Massachusetts. Had terrible stomach pains one night, and the counselor took me to the infirmary, and this nurse gave me this green liquid, and I didn't know what the heck it was. I'm a 14-year-old kid with bad stomach pains, and that green liquid made me feel like Superman. Within 3 minutes, I'm walking across the softball field, and that green liquid, more or less introduced me, that feeling that I got at that time, introduced me to the world. I got back to the bunk. I'm the cool kid now, the popular one, the talkative one, the funny one. Had the courage to flirt with girls for the first time, and I started realizing that green liquid now allowed people to meet Darren Prince. And I just needed more and more of it. So for 3 weeks, every night, I'm lying about more stomach pain and taking that green liquid until mom and dad came up for visitation day and found that I was taking liquid Demerol. And 1984. And same thing
And they
happened a
just
couple
gave
months
it to
later.
you?
Got my wisdom teeth pulled and dentist gave my mom Vicodins. I had no idea what they were, but I had that same feeling back. And mind you, at the same time, I developed, I think I told you earlier, I developed this little business that became a real big business during the baseball card boom. And by the time I was 15, I'm making $300,000-$400,000 a year with a huge mail order baseball card company, but still dealing with these underlying issues of less than and inadequacies.
Did your stomach really hurt?
Only that first night.
And what did it hurt from?
I think anxiety.
But I mean, that's it? Just you had a little stomach pain?
To me, I think just when I was so uncomfortable in my own skin, I never felt a part of. I was homesick. I just, everything was exasperated.
Yeah.
And I think, because of those years of not speaking up about being teased and feeling different, like I said, crippling anxiety, physical pain that came with it. I just needed instant gratification.
Yeah, one time they asked me to take my blood. I was going to do something. They wanted blood. So I took my blood and they said, we're going to AIDS test you. This was back when AIDS was like major.
Yep.
And they said they're going to blood test me, and just me fretting an AIDS test. Because, dude, that's scary shit if you don't know. And,
And then you got to wait.
Well, you got to wait. So when I was waiting for the results, because I was a little promiscuous.
Yeah.
But when I was waiting for the results, dude, I got a physical stomach pain.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't cool. But I took like Zantac. And by the way, that supposedly now causes cancer.
I know.
But I took Zantac and fortunately it went away, but it was a pain and it was from anxiety. So I know what you mean.
Yeah.
And then how would a camp counselor or something gave you Demerol?
Well, the nurse did. I think back then, I do a lot of public speaking around the world, and every time I talked to an audience about that, you always hear, oh, but back then it wasn't really an issue, controlled dangerous substance like opiates are today. And a lot of mothers, when I speak at schools and galas, like, oh, that nurse. I'm like, don't blame the nurse. What happened anyway? It happened with the dentist. I would have found what I needed. I
don't know about that, but handing it to you, that's pretty bad.
Yeah, but I still think I had the isms. I had
addictive personality.
And then I had money. When I was on Jay Shetty, he said the same thing. That's crazy, dude. Like I go, no, it's not though. Like I can't point the fingers and blame anybody, especially as somebody now that's in recovery. I can't point the fingers about my mom and my dad and this counselor and that one. I had something going on within here and within here. And it's why I'm so passionate about speaking right now, because I don't want teenage kids in a world where social media is everything and judging and, speak up if there's something going on. If you're that guy or that girl that has to put something in your system to be somebody you're not, ask for help.
We're editing Nebster.
That's your first bomb.
That's your first bomb.
Yep.
Yeah, dude, I agree 100%. So you're 14, 15, that shit makes you feel good, gives you that confidence, and then how soon until you start dealing in baseball cards?
It was probably 3 or 4 months later. God bless my father. He saw something with numbers that I had this, it's almost like a Rain Man brain with numbers. And one day I had this teacher I'm still close with to this day, intro to business teacher, Elliot Lovey, and he gave the class an assignment to go home and create a business. Back then, there weren't even computers, there was typewriters. And so I got in front of the typewriter. I had in my own mind my own baseball card company already. I just wasn't selling them. A lot of my friends were into girls, dating at that point. I was a late bloomer. I have 4 different jobs, squeezing orange juice at a supermarket, delivering newspapers, working at a pizzeria. I was a busboy at a diner. And I would take all that money and buy my friends' collections, $20, $10, whatever it might be. Before you know it, I put together a pretty big collection. I go downstairs, I tell my dad about the Book Report project. I said, Dad, I'm going to start a baseball card business. Who are you going to sell these things to? So I pull out this ad and with the price guide, and he goes, okay, well, this one's worth $50, $30. Who's going to buy them? I show him the ad. I go, Dad, for $20, I can get a table at a baseball card show in 2 weeks, and I can display them all and buy, sell, and trade. And I just need insurance. And he's like, well, what do you need? I said, I don't know, about 8 or 9. So he's like, all right, I'll call the homeowners. I'll get you $1,000 worth of insurance. I go, Dad, 8 or 9,000. He's like, all right, you're crazy. How do you have 8 or 9,000 worth of cards? And I told him, I've been buying all my friends' collections for the past 2 years with all my extra money. And had this whole game plan. I worked every day after school, no homework, laser focus on having the most beautiful 8-foot display. And I shared the booth, ironically, this was 1984, with the guy who runs my agency right now, Steve Simon. That's how far back we go. And he went in it for fun. I went in knowing that this was my time to show the world that Darren Prince had something special about him. And made over $1,000 on that Sunday afternoon. And came back, and I remember the feeling, Brad. I was so high on life. This was incredible. I was wheeling, dealing in my comfort zone. And eventually, though, that feeling wore off, and I crashed. I crashed in the bedroom, just thinking, what else? I gotta get that feeling again. I finally felt like I was somebody. I finally felt like I was in the middle of a universe that I meant to be, was meant to be in. And I think that's also where the addiction, that instant gratification, that I felt like that loser kid in the small classroom, an hour after I had this wad of cash in my bedroom, proving to myself that I was somebody that was going to make an imprint.
This is before you graduated.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's crazy. Now you graduate. Now, did you crash then?
No.
So you're still riding high, but you're still chasing this feeling of kick ass.
Oh yeah, man. I mean, at that point, like, I graduate high school. I'm getting notoriety all over the country. I'm in the USA Today.
Just for being a little entrepreneur,
But
because you got big.
the baseball card business was massive at that point. I don't know if you probably don't remember, but 1989, Wayne Gretzky and Bruce McNall bought the Hennes Wagner card at Sotheby's. It was historic. It went for $451,000. I was one of the biggest baseball card dealers in America, running 4 or 5 page ads a week in the Bible of the industry. I was on Sally Jesse Raphael, the LA Times, New York Post.
Boy, this is a long time
Daily
ago.
News, USA Today.
Sally Jesse.
Yeah, so you're talking the mid-1980s, late 80s. So at this point now, I had the notoriety, and there was no internet. You know what I'm saying? So everything was about newspapers back then.
Dude,
so,
you've been balling for years.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Yep.
What was it like dealing with it at that age? Because I'm sure with that success came everybody trying to get their hands in your pocket.
Yeah, and because I was so broken and insecure, I brought all the fake friends along for the ride. I wanted to buy those friendship. I wanted those women that, I would take care of, or whatever it might have been, to really think they liked me for me. And, knowing that in a way, I kind of knew they didn't, but I needed it. I needed that validation. And so I just took everybody along for the ride and blew a ton of freaking money.
Did parents say anything?
Yeah, they did, but I didn't understand it. I didn't want to hear it. And my dad would, even when he saw me with the partying and the drinking and the smoking weed and other drugs, it bothered him, because that wasn't anything he ever did. And he'd be like, why can't you just look in the mirror and feel good about yourself? I'm like, Dad, what do you mean? I feel great about myself. I like doing it because it relaxes me, and it gives me all these great business ideas. And he goes, hopefully one day you'll understand you don't need that stuff. And took me until I was 38 until I understood what he meant. And then eventually I get out of the baseball card business. I started sports and celebrity autograph memorabilia company that ran hard for 3-4 years, doing signings with Muhammad and Magic and some of the biggest names, which is how I developed my relationships to start the agency. Got in a shitload of trouble, which I talk about in the book. It was a big investigation for mail order fraud with fraudulent autographs that I didn't know about. Thank God, wound up on probation. I wasn't proved to have done anything wrong. I didn't knowingly do anything wrong. But that was like a tipping point. I know you have a lot of entrepreneurs on, like, where's that aha moment when it comes? And I could have just crawled up on a ball $1 million in debt at 25. But I had this vision with my dad that I said, you know what, I want to be an agent. I really think I can do this, Dad, but I don't have 8 years to go to law school. And we're in Alaska. I took my last $3,000 that I had to my name on a fly fishing trip that changed our lives. And he drops his fishing rod on this gorgeous stream in Alaska, and he goes, lawyer? You don't need to be a lawyer. He goes, Darren, life is about who you know, not what you know. The fact that you can call up Muhammad Ali and Lonnie Ali and wind up on their farm in Berrien Springs tomorrow, or Pamela Anderson and go see her in Malibu, or Magic in Beverly Hills, or Joe Frazier in Broad Street in Philadelphia, or Chevy Chase in New Bedford, New York. Because there's not an entertainment lawyer in the world that wouldn't kill to have these relationships. Magic stuck by you during this. All the clients did, because they know you're a good guy that made a mistake. They've all made mistakes. Next time you're with Magic, tell him about your vision and see if he'll help you start your agency. And that was it.
No shit.
Yeah.
Damn.
Mm.
That's freaking unbelievable.
Yeah.
I can only imagine, because I know a few celebs, and I've talked to them over a couple cocktails, and tell me a little bit about like what this life was like, and and they're not telling me everything,
Of course.
and they're not even exaggerating, and it's just crazy. So like, I don't blame you for doing the drugs. The drugs lasted how long?
Well, the drug lasted, the hardcore drugs lasted till about like 95, maybe 94, 95. When I became an agent, you have these things known as morality clauses. And I started, reading into Magics and everybody else. I was like, all right, there's no more coke, there's no more ecstasy. But I actually developed real sciatica. I was addicted to steroids for a while. I was training real heavy. And hey, it was easy to go to doctors. I'm the man at this point. These doctors see who I'm working for. This guy doesn't have a problem. Here's 100 Percocets. Here's a prescription every month for 50 Oxys and 200 Vicodins. And so now I had a legal reason to go on the plane and go to events and take all the freaking opiates that I needed and function.
Were you doing it daily?
Oh yeah. It was probably 10 to 15 pills a day on an average day.
Now you also said upstairs, I forget what year, but you said you dropped to your knees and made a change.
Yep.
What day was that? And
July 2nd, 2008.
So not that long ago.
No, 13 years ago. Yeah.
And what made you do that? There had to be a catalyst or something.
So I had an overdose in this city about a year earlier. Went to an addiction psychiatrist, told him what was going on, but I lied to him too. He put me on Suboxone, which was an opiate blocker, but I'm sniffing Ambien at night to go to bed. I'm still drinking a few days a week. I'm on an anxiety pill, a mood stabilizer, and an antidepressant. And July 1st, 2008, my late Uncle Stu and his then girlfriend Andrea were visiting my mom from Miami in New Jersey, where I grew up. And they paid me a surprise visit. And she walked in, this woman, Andrea, Brett. I never met her before. And she looked at me, she goes, "Are you okay?" And I said, "No, I'm not." And I don't know, I felt a connection with the human that I never felt before. And I told her everything. And she's like, "Do you realize you're an addict, that your life's unmanageable?" I said, "Yeah." She goes, "Do you realize you're powerless?" I said, "Yup." She goes, "Do you realize that all this stuff means nothing? Because you mean nothing." She pointed to all the photos with the celebrities, my car, my beautiful place. I said, "Yeah." And she told me something that broke my soul and made me cry. And she goes, "Do you realize that the disease of addiction doesn't discriminate? It doesn't matter if you're from Yale or Jail or Park Avenue and Park Bench." And she goes, "Are you want to do anything it takes? Because I can help get you sober. I'm sober myself, 5 years, and your uncle's in recovery." I said, "I'll do anything." 24 hours later, I was on a detox plan, and I was in the gym at my building, the Carolina in New York City. I came back 7 o'clock at night, the detox pains, the upset stomach, vomiting. I called them up. I said, "Kat, I can't freaking do this anymore. I'm going to call the freaking doctor. I'm going to freaking get another prescription of opiates." And they start screaming, "Put your goddamn ego aside. Go online, find a 12-step meeting, and you go into that damn meeting, you put your freaking hand up. That's enough of this bullshit. You tell these people you're sick and you're suffering, you need help." I said, "I can't freaking do it." I've been to those dumb meetings in my early 20s. Those people wouldn't understand me. I hung up the phone, ran in the bathroom, and I was looking for some non-narcotic anxiety pills. I was married at the time. My then wife is hysterically crying, banging on the door, thinking I was going to overdose again. "Baby, don't do it, don't do it." And out came 2 Vicodins in one of the pill bottles, which was crazy because we literally cleaned out every cabinet of all the opiates 2 nights before, knowing that I had to really stick with this. And then for a minute, Brett, it was like a gift from God. I was like, yeah, just what I needed. But then the miracle happened. And I truly had a white light moment because I fell on my knees, shaking, trembling, and crying. And I called out to God. I said, "I can't do this." I said, "Take the money, take the business, take the freaking notoriety. I'll do anything it takes. If you take me out of hell, I promise I will spend one day at a time the rest of my life taking others out with me." And it was this lightning bolt that came through me because I had this burning sensation on this right shoulder. And I'm deaf in my left ear, which is why I'm sitting this way. And out of this ear, I heard, "I've got you, and you're ready." And I stood up, and this hand let go of the pills, and I flushed them. And I wound up in the living room on a computer, found a 12-step meeting in the upper 80s at a church basement at 7:30 that night. And I go downstairs. There was no Uber. I flag a cab on a beautiful night of July 2nd, 2008. I have the window, and I look up. I said, "Wow, what the heck just happened?" I wanted to stay sober more than I wanted to get high. And I walked into a church basement, man, with 150, 200 addicts and alcoholics who were all once of a hopeless state of mind. And I heard somebody say, is anybody new coming back or struggling? And this freaking ego was in check because I put my hands up and I surrendered. And I said, I'm Darren, I'm sick, I'm suffering, I'm an addict, I'm suicidal, I need your guys' help. And this so-called super agent bullshit didn't mean anything anymore because this was life and death. And to surrender and have these people come over to me, a dozen of them, say, it's okay, we're gonna love you, be free, learn how to love yourself. Stick with the winners. It's easier to stay sober than it is to come back again. I felt a connection. That connection that I was looking for my whole life, it never came from Muhammad Ali or Joe Frazier or Magic or Hulk, God bless them. But it came from those people that taught me how to go deep into my soul, deep into that underlying root one day at a time and work through that stuff and eventually find the real me, find my purpose.
Were these guys, was there a name to them, or was it like just a regular church, or?
It's a regular 12-step, recovery meeting,
So like
AA, NA,
yeah, AA?
type of people.
But was it AA?
Yeah, that are just spiritual and just know how to live this life, and it's not just putting down the drink and the drug, you actually become spiritual. You work through the 12 steps. The 12 steps, you can go up online. We all need them. 12 steps, only alcohol is mentioned in that first step. It's about being accountable, taking your own personal inventory. When you're wrong, make a right. Letting go of that resentment. You get screwed in a business deal, something doesn't go right. You got to forgive that person to get on your own journey. Because you hold on to that resentment, you're not forgiving them. You're doing it for yourself. Bad breakup, same sort of situation. A health issue. You lose a friend, God forbid, a loved one. It's learning how to live life with the glasses half full. Your perspective and perception gets changed and everything. Focus on what you have, not what you don't have. Being of service. You get it, you're human. When you get those thoughts in your own head, you're not responsible for them. You are responsible for how long you want to think them. What does Brad and Darren have to do to get out of our own way? For me, I'd rather help other people when that happens, because 5-10 minutes into helping somebody else doesn't even need to be substance abuse or mental health. I got one of my boys that's struggling. I want to give him a call, or an old friend or a family member. That's what I do. And it just keeps me on that spiritual beam about being of service and helping others, because we can all roll around in our own crap. You and I got luxury problems on any given day. We got a business issue. We got I'm waiting for that big freaking contract to get signed. Luxury problems,
Now you still do this. So when any of those guys make some sort of deal to show up or any kind of publicity, you're negotiating it?
Yeah.
So, and you were back then still doing some drugs, negotiating?
Yeah, I was high on opiates when I was negotiating all those
deals.
Do
you think, looking back, that helped you make more money or kind of cost you?
It's interesting because I'm very careful when I speak to high school kids because they're very smart, and a lot of them get motivated by that. Think, well, look at this guy. He was high as a kite.
Because you said Superman, made me feel like Superman. People want to chase that. Even they're not listening to the downside.
Yep.
They just hear Superman.
Yep, exactly. So what I tell the high school kids is the first 3 or 4 years it worked. It did. I was a rock star. But what was once living to use turned out to using to live. Because I knew it became my kryptonite, and those superpowers slowly were deteriorating.
And they always do.
And I didn't know how to function. And not paying attention to money, giving a ton of it away. I mean, I was in an amazing position, thank God. But when I did Dave Meltzer's podcast, he's my boy. We laugh about it because he never wants to beat me in this realm. But I've made and lost millions twice. I ain't screwing it up again this time, because I believe I always had that mindset on how to build a business, get those revenue streams going, get those residual income streams going, be as diversified as possible. So if one deal goes bad for another client, we have 15, 20 of their other most iconic figures. We're not just focused on celebrities at this point. We buy talent for brands. We have big corporations that come to us where I don't need to be dependent on Magic, so you got $1 billion brand saying no, or Hulk not in the mood to do something, or Charlie Sheen, say, oh, it's not enough money, man, but thank you.
Was that up to you, or did you have to call and run shit by them?
I got to run most of it by everybody.
So if I'm some celebrity dude and you're my agent, you're calling me going, Brad, these fools want to give you $250 to go out to the Dallas Cowboy Stadium and hand some dude freaking trophy.
That's it, man.
And what would they say to you half the time?
It's I will fight a battle when I need to, and it's not always about the money. It's about the brand. It's about getting in with an organization that could lead to a lot of other opportunities within that brand.
Yeah, but I'm sure you had to sell the star.
Yeah, but I mean, probably I would say, honestly, more times than not, I'm unsuccessful, but there are a lot of times that I am. I just have to know each personality and how it works. Holly Saunders and Oscar De La Hoya, I've worked with them. They're actually out here right now.
Who's Saunders?
She was your Vegas girl here that was here for years. So her and Oscar De La Hoya are dating. And
they are currently?
Yeah. So Oscar's worth a ton of money, and we laugh about it all the time. He's one of those guys that's like magic, where something has to make sense, and
he's no idiot.
Yeah, they'll throw away opportunities like it's a $50 to $300 deal, but also I got to respect that, because that means they were entrepreneurial enough and careful enough respecting their brand that's why these opportunities are coming. Mm-hmm. I'd rather have that than a broke-ass legend, if you think about it, that's taking every nickel and dime deal. Because for us as agents, I got a staff of 9 people.
How many broke-ass legends are there?
It's a lot, man. It's a problem in this business. They in that industry, they think it's never going to end. You hear these stories all the time. The typical athlete, 6 to 8 years after their career's over, they're done. Because they have that entourage, they're paying out so much money, and they might have that contract money, but if they're not a superstar, they're not getting those endorsements after their career's over. They're not getting those broadcasting jobs that give them,
even if they're still popular.
They have to have a certain level of popularity.
Because come to think of it, you don't see Michael Jordan much anymore.
Oh,
but he's still iconic.
You don't need to. He's pulling probably $125 million a year from Nike alone.
But I mean, to your point, you don't really see him much anymore. Mm-mm. Is it because he doesn't want to? Because there's tons of people
he doesn't want to. I mean, The Last Dance was incredible, the documentary last year. But outside of that, he doesn't. He's owns the Charlotte Bobcats.
What if you have somebody that you're close with, but they are on drugs?
I've had issues with clients, and as a recovery advocate, it's kind of like it's based on attraction, not promotion. I can only tell them my story. And if somebody likes what I have, there has been, I'm not going to get into it, some clients that have actually, turned their life around. And I got to believe in some way, shape, or form, the way I live my life have inspired them to do the same for them. And that's a beautiful thing when that happens, because it's not about the money at that point, it's family.
But let's be glad it's not the opposite.
Exactly.
Because, dude, being an addict, all you need is someone that you admire or respect or like to kind of talk you into it. Dude, that was years ago, bro. Exactly. You're not an addict anymore. Okay, you can freaking do a line. Like, let's just do a line. Just don't do one tomorrow.
There's no way.
Huh?
There's no way. Yeah,
but it is possible. People slide back that way.
Happens all the time.
Yeah, so I'm thinking as you're talking, because about Oscar, I was watching a video. I think it was Dana White. I don't know if they got beef or something.
They've been getting into it for years.
Yeah, Dana said, and I didn't know
Coke's expensive or something.
Yeah, I didn't know that Oscar freaking even did Coke, or maybe he doesn't. But Dana sure insinuated that he does, because Oscar's getting back into this. He goes, "Hey, Coke's expensive." Yeah. Like when there's a feud between celebrities and other celebrities, like, does that help business or hurt business?
Well, Dennis Rodman always believes that any controversy is good controversy.
That's the rule I hear. Is that true?
I think, I mean, it depends on the controversy. See, I could screw up, Brad. I can't recover. That's the difference. A celebrity can screw up. They can recover. They always have, especially an iconic one. And Mike Tyson's a perfect story.
What do you mean, financially?
Financially, brand-wise, marketability-wise.
I don't know. Charlie Sheen, even though there's a lot
Charlie's doing amazing. He's got about 4.5, 5 years sober, but he's real low-key about it. Yeah, I mean, he still gets acting jobs and whatnot, but
not
he's
as
always
much.
going to have marketability as one of the greatest.
Was he your client too?
He's still a client.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
Dude, love Charlie.
Amazing
but
guy.
But like he was on, what was it, 3.5 Men?
2.5 Men.
2.5 Men.
Yeah.
But height, dude, everybody wanted Charlie. Charlie was everywhere.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden you see him going, I got tiger's blood, man.
Yep.
Which I loved. But and again, people watching, they love Charlie. They're like, fuck it, that's awesome. But when he's doing these interviews and you can see he's clearly breaking down here. Is that drugs? Is that where you say that's when you start deteriorating, no matter who you
some
are?
other issues going on. It wasn't necessarily, believe it or not, even drug related. Just had some other issues going on, and I don't judge him looking back at that time because I wasn't even working with him then. And he's an amazing father. He's takes care of his kids. He very hands-on. He still will always have that Charlie Sheen marketability, whether it's appearance, speaking engagements, commercials. I'd love to see him back on TV at some point. He's the greatest crossover actor we've ever seen. Who's gone from Platoon, Major League, Wall Street to 2.5 Men. Just never happened. We'll never see that again. And he's given the world the gift of laughter, as I tell him all the time.
Yeah.
It's the greatest thing in the world,
What about Robert Downey Jr.?
I was just telling my girlfriend about him the other day that what a story, man.
That's another one.
What a freaking comeback.
What about Martin Lawrence?
How's he doing now?
I don't know, but didn't he like supposedly flip out? I don't necessarily always believe the media. That's the problem. Yeah. I remember one time there was a tabloid that said Bruce Jenner dresses up like a woman.
Yeah.
And Chris is fed up and yada, yada, yada. And I'm thinking, dude, that's the dumbest shit.
Dumbest thing I ever heard.
That's the dumbest shit I ever heard. Then the next thing you know, it's fact.
Yeah.
And it's like, now you question like all those tabloids. Were any of them true? Like, holy moly. If that one's true, what else was true? But clearly, dude, you've kept these relationships with these people.
Yep.
That's important. Now, how would you tell people to, number one, establish relationships with these type of people, let alone keep one? How do you get in the midst of them? Because you had baseball cards?
I get so many calls from some young kids now that are in sports management college programs. My way, Brad, was so unusual to come up as an agent and get to the position I was in, because most actually do start in the mailroom at an agency and work their way up, or get their law degree. For me, it was just a lot of hustle, honesty. I did make mistakes, obviously, early on. My dad always taught me a reputation's the hardest thing to uphold, the easiest thing to lose. You only got one chance. And second words that I live by to this day, it's not what you say, it's what you do. The idea is 1%, carrying through is the other 99%. When you have access to a celebrity, you're at an event, you're at a restaurant, you have a vision, like the truth is everybody wants to take. That's what they're used to. Everybody's got this investment or whatever. My position's different as an agent. I'm coming to you every time, first up, to see how your life is going, how your day's going. Secondly, I'm bringing opportunities. I'm never going to be somebody that asks for anything. So that's what's different. And think about it. It's just the way of their life. And
but someone had to, like, I think you said Magic referred you to some people.
Yeah.
Or you asked him, hey, hook me up. But you had to get to be friends with him for him to do that. You don't, he don't just do that because you're funny.
Yeah, I built a relationship with him. My friend Harlan Warner, who was Muhammad's guy for years, that brought me into Muhammad's circle, said, I think you should start working with Magic. He's incredibly marketable. This is 93. I did our first autograph signing. Got to meet my mom and my dad. We had a family bond right out of the gate. And, he kind of just took me under his wing, as did Smokin' Joe Frazier. So I had the other half of the most iconic rivalries in the history of sports, and eventually got with Larry Bird, who's been one of our guys for years. So I think it's, like I said, for me, it's that relationship building. Got to make it personal. Anybody can make them money. They really can. It's not that difficult. I'm nobody special.
Yeah, but was it, see, I've always thought like an agent, if I'm a celebrity, and I'm just, again, spitballing here, tell me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
If I'm a celebrity, everyone's going to come to me direct if I'd let them.
Yep.
So I say, you talk to him.
Yep.
So to me, it's like, dude, I'm making you money. If you're my agent, I'm making you money by letting you be the one that talks to people.
Yep.
Is it that way? Do they look like that? Because that's where I'm trying to go with. You must have been something more than just that, because couldn't they have anyone do that? Not anyone. I mean, you got to be smart, but why you, dude? And then you started doing drugs, or they found out.
Yep.
I would assume you never like got to a fiend level where you're,
or I wasn't getting arrested, at least,
or stealing,
yep,
or lying,
yep,
or hurting relationships because you needed drugs. So you weren't a fiend. You
Yep.
you just liked that drug.
Yep. No, I love that question. It actually
I want to
doesn't.
read this book
It
right while
doesn't
we're
come
talking.
often. There's a paragraph in there in one of the chapters where I talk about that, agents and managers respectfully that think they're, ooh, no, at the end of the day, the celebrities and the talent make us. We don't make them.
Well, yeah, but that's why.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, there are certain circumstances where obviously I'm out there grinding. I'm out there meeting different corporations and different talent buyers. There could be an idea once in a while, a campaign that we sing and say, hey, 6 of my agents, go pitch these celebrities to that one. But again, you still need to always revert back to the talent.
Well,
So
yeah, but you
we might have the ideas. You still got to have the talent to pitch the ideas.
Yes, but when I said, how did you get in? Because what I'm trying to get the audience to understand is, how do you approach and get in the circle of these people? Sounds like you got a little bit lucky, but when you did, you kept them.
I was always a good person, man. I mean,
but you hold on. You said
I worked my butt off, and I built up a real solid personal relationship. I was a sick person, but I was a good person.
Well, that's good. But hold on, because you were leading me down. It's easy to like me when you're bringing them a lot of opportunity, and that's when I said, wait a minute, aren't they basically giving you the opportunity? So I don't necessarily know that that's why they liked you. Because I mean, yeah, you were managing some shit, you were bringing some stuff, but I think they liked you for something else.
I don't know. I just I would have to get one of them on a call or something, because to me, I'm just at the point of
don't you
just
want to
being
know,
my life is about humility, and whatever that wow factor is, or that wow, I'm sticking with Darren. I honestly don't know what it is, and I just think, like I said, to me, I just grinded it out. I always did the right thing. I always protected them. I always kept them safe. They wanted to go out to an event, they wanted to go to a club, they wanted to go to a bar. I went out of pocket to make sure the right security, the car service was in the right place. Whatever they did was to have a good time and to escape that alter ego of that huge celebrity, to have the ability to feel comfortable just for one night. If we were at dinner, I made sure that they can enjoy the dinner and not get bombarded by paparazzi and whatever. I always went that extra mile, and I think that had a lot to do with it too.
So you were competent as hell.
Yep.
Does that position also, if they were to be drug addicts, hey, go get me some shit?
I mean, fortunately, I was never in that position, because that would have been awkward, especially when I was using back in the day. But of course that happens. I mean,
but in that position, I mean, because celebrities got a million people around them.
Yep.
It might be their buddy from high school that technically goes and get their shit. Yep. I won't say the celebrity's name, but I was hanging out with a celebrity, and I was asked by somebody that was a promoter that had that person there.
Yep.
Can I get any coke?
Yeah.
And I said, I know people that sell coke, but no, I don't have coke or anything.
Right.
And they said, well, can you get some coke? And I said, for who? Like you? And he said, no.
Right. Yep.
And this is a big time celebrity. And I thought to myself, dude, this celebrity does coke.
Yep.
How many celebrities you think do coke?
It's crazy.
Is it still big in Hollywood or no?
I think it all is. I think all the drugs. And
how many parties have you seen where there's shit going on crazy? Sex,
forget it.
Drugs.
Too many.
Because you'd have to show up
Too
sometimes,
many.
wouldn't you?
Yeah, but now if I go to events or fundraisers, whatever it might be, I'll go for an hour or two and just enjoy myself, say hello to I need to, and then I get back home. Just because it's an environment. I always like to say that nothing good happens at night when you're out after 10 o'clock at night. You and I aren't meeting at a freaking club at 11 o'clock at night cutting a business deal. The real people are doing business in the morning, afternoon, and maybe early evening, and they've got that routine down pat. They have that structure.
Yeah.
So
if you're out late at night at a club, there's nothing good going on.
No. And I'm not meeting somebody that's bringing me a multi-million-dollar endorsement deal, popping bottles at freaking 1:30 in the morning at freaking Marquee. My boy Jason and Noah's spot. That ain't happening. I'm sorry.
Have you been to any like Eyes Wide Shut type crazy underground shit with the celebrity?
It's been I'm trying to think. I mean, I have to think back maybe 15, 20 years ago, stuff in the city. I mean, Yeah, you know, a lot of it I don't even remember. I had so many crazy weekends here in Vegas when I used to fly in from New Jersey. I was telling her last week, like, all those craziest nights. You wake up the next morning, oh, that was the best time ever. I don't remember any of those best time evers anymore. You know, I don't remember any of the friends that I was with.
Well, that proves that they were the best time ever.
Yeah.
Because you don't remember. Dude, man, you've lived some. How old are you?
51.
Where do you live?
I live in Marina Del Rey.
And every day, what's your routine?
It's routine. I get up in the morning. I have my amazing Shar-Pei dog, Rodney, who just turned 9. I love him to death. We go for a nice walk, come back, eat some breakfast, get a good workout in. And it's the grind because most of my guys are based back in New Jersey. So they're 3 hours ahead of me. And it's, you know, going through other emails we do so much international business. It's calling the boys back in New Jersey. Then I've got, I've got 3 different assistants that come into my place, who work out of my place. I got my boy Nick in Beverly Hills, and it's just constantly going back and forth, follow-ups with them, going over contracts, going over deal points, you know, pitching all, new business leads and all the celebrities that we're working with. And none of that works, though, man, without me just making sure I've got focus, too, on recovery and helping people. I got my own foundation, Aiming High Foundation. I did a big keynote last week in New Jersey. They gave me a nice contribution. I scholarshiped 2 people this week that couldn't afford treatment. I think that as long as I keep recovery, mental health, first near to my heart and being a service, I think everything else falls into place. I'm so much more passionate about that now. That's everything. That's what gets me going. You know, I don't want to have a whole week where it's like, oh, business is great, business is great, business is great. I found my self-worth for the first time in my life by doing esteemable acts.
Do you have any other entrepreneurial ventures, businesses, cash flows, real estate?
Besides,
is this your only source of income?
Prince Marketing Group. No, I mean, obviously I do public speaking. You know,
is that like something that you would be willing to grow? Like if a billion people heard this, and they're like, I love this guy. I want him to speak at my
100%. I mean, I probably did 150 keynotes in the past 3 years since the book came out. We have another book in the works right now. My literary agent is out there pitching. I've got some other business ventures. I'm definitely diversified with some, investments, and been very, very smart, thank God, over the past 13 plus years with making sure that, variety and being diversified, where those years in my 20s where I was so effed up, it was just one-dimensional. Make that money, save what you can, spend the rest. And, I'm not going to make that same mistake, man. You gotta, for anybody listening, you preach it. You gotta have that passive income. Gotta have, if Prince Marketing Group has a down month, I gotta make sure there's something else to pick up the slack. Because I don't want to have to go back into retirement. I don't want to have to sell off stocks. I just want to keep putting away as much as I can, but enjoying life at the same time. I love taking care of people. My whole staff will tell you, she'll tell you, like, that's what brings me joy. I don't have kids.
Taking care of people how?
Yeah, financially, people, need it, somebody in my office needs a little extra,
Ferrari?
Whatever it might be. Ferrari might be a little excessive, but
you ever get any big gifts from celebrity clients?
Yeah, I've had them. Actually, Holly bought me a Rolex in February for my birthday because she's always seeing me like this, and she's like, you gotta have that super agent look with the Rolex. I'm like, Holly, I had a platinum Rolex 15, 20 years ago. I sold it. It's just not me anymore. And she's like, I'm getting you wrong. Don't get me a Rolex. I'm not gonna wear it. I'm like, she got me like a nice Rollie. I mean, I've had clients, buy me beautiful necklaces, diamond necklaces. I got some in my safe, and it's just not me anymore, man. I've had that. Drove a $175,000 custom Acura NSX at 20 years old. That's what I thought made me happy. Doesn't make me happy.
What
nice stuff is great. Let's face it. Everybody likes it. But at the end of the day, I think money truly buys temporary happiness. It buys the ability so we can take care of people, take care of our loved ones. But it doesn't ultimately buy real happiness. Happiness comes within, in here, and in here.
So is your happiness now just kind of speaking and hoping you'll change other people that are addicted?
That's it. 100. And mental health, suicide, depression, anxiety.
Well, why don't you have a podcast then?
I know. I've been told so much. It's I just don't know how much time it's going to take. My time is everything. Time is
Dude,
the most precious commodity.
How passionate can you be about it if you don't want to give up an hour?
That's all it is.
Dude, it's an hour.
But how much? An hour a day or an hour?
No, it's whenever you want. Like, I'll film these when people show up. Like, this is my second one. I had Grant Cardone this morning. I have you, and I don't have another one today. But if you were out of here, I'd say I'd do 1 or 2 more, and now I've got 4 in the can. You don't release them that quick, so they stack up, and your guest lineup would be ridiculous.
I know.
Like, dude, I'll show you how to do it. You know, I started this one. Next thing you know, you're on it. Like, I got big people wanting on it because of the reach it has.
Okay.
And I just started, and what I'm doing is kind of like you. My mission is to get the knowledge from the people who have it to the people who need it. But I mean, basically, entrepreneurial.
Yeah.
That's kind of where it started. A lot of people are struggling. They don't know how to make money.
Yep.
And it's not that difficult. So I'm like, dude, I have all these people coming in because I have that virtual training software up there. So all these celebrities, kind of like yours, but in the entrepreneurial business world, they're teaching people shit. Well, I've got the software they're using. So they're coming in and out making their courses. I get to pick their brain. They're now my friends. I can text a bunch of them.
Yep.
And again, very similar. But
I remember you'll talk to me offline. Maybe you could help me with it.
I think you need a podcast if that's what you're passionate about, because, dude, you're gonna get the listeners. You're gonna freaking talk about shit that matters, and there's gonna be somebody that tells their story, and they're gonna say, "I was listening to this podcast."
Yep.
Because if you don't do it, man, you're losing a lot of people right now. Podcast. If you're legit, you got a story, you know what you're talking about, start one.
All right.
Dude, Bomb Squad, if you want to follow this dude, hit him up, hit hashtag get your own podcast, or let him know that the Bomb Squad wants him to have one at agent_DP. You can also check out his website, Prince Marketing Group. By the way, if the Bomb Squad, that's the listeners, can help you, is it buying a book? I mean, this has been out a minute. You're already a bestseller.
The book or any sort of contribution, 100% goes to aiminghighfoundation.org.
So either a donation or buy the book.
Either or.
Or now
either or. And if it's about business, you can go to princemarketinggroup.com, check out our great client roster, and hopefully we could do some biz.
And at one time, or do some biz. How does someone get on your roster? How do you know when it's time someone's famous? Like, if I know someone that doesn't have a manager and I hook you up and you guys do biz, is there some sort of referral deal?
Oh yeah, but it's got to be the right person. We're real picky at this point. They got to have the right personality, personally, and they got to have that marketability, because we turn a lot of people down.
Well, I'm making some.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm watching people rise that no one knows who they are, and they're very quickly becoming known. And eventually they're going to need an agent, and they don't even know that yet.
They don't even know.
Just like back when poker got big.
Yep.
A friend of mine, and there were 2 lawyers. They basically said, hey, these guys don't know they're celebrities, but they're about to be. And so they went and signed all the poker players that you know now, because back then nobody really knew them. Yeah. And dude, literally they started a company and made a son of a bitch.
Incredible.
Lot of money. Dude, it's like...
Well, you keep me in mind. We might have to start our own little side agency together.
Well, what about esports?
It's incredible what's going on with that.
See, I couldn't tell you who any of them are, but there's a lot of people that do, and there's millions that are watching their Twitch.
They're crushing it.
Why don't you start another division there?
You know what it is, man? I think my mental capacity, just like we're talking about the NFT game on the way over here, because my boy Rocky from Artifacts is the holy grail and started it, and I'm trying to wrap my head around all these other things that are happening right now.
Is everybody approaching you for NFTs with the celebs?
Yep.
Yeah, because I was about to say, I know some pretty decent players in NFT, and when you just said that, I was thinking, damn, maybe I can make some sort of deal.
There you go. Yeah.
All they want is the celebrity and some sort of digital asset, some sort of right, and they're selling.
I was on the phone with Ric Flair yesterday. Nature Boys, one of my guys, we're trying to wrap up one of his deals right now for an NFT. You know, everybody wants all our guys and girls that we represent. Carmen Electra has one that's dropping, I think, in January. Denise Richards is a client. She's got one.
What's your Rolodex look like? What's your cell phone look like?
It's
filled?
It's pretty crazy.
And on Instagram, you post a lot, or?
I do. I mix it up. I keep a lot about the inspiration of recovery, but look, I got to throw the celebrity stuff in. Everybody loves him at the end of the day. And, Chevy Chase, I was with him last Monday, and anytime I'm with any of my guys or women, I got to make sure I keep it fresh. And at the end of the day, I mean, I got to be real. Not everybody wants to come to my page and constantly listen to recovery message, inspirational messages. They want to kind of see the good stuff and be a fly on the wall of what it's like in the world that I live every day.
If I started getting like a ton of speaking calls, because I get quite a few, and the first one they said, how much to come speak? And I said 25,000, and they said okay, and they started paying it. Now I know people that were working for a while saying, dude, it takes you a while to start getting paid that much. I just asked for it. They started saying yes. I've been booked on 10, 20 maybe, and I don't like negotiating and saying I want money.
It's a horrible position.
I know, but like, how come someone like me can't say, hey, dude, call my new manager, Darren?
That's all you got to do. Call my agent, Darren Prince. That's it. I'll get the money up, and you tell me where you got to go. My office will handle the flights, deal with your assistant. We'll make it super easy.
I'm going to do another level or two, but when that comes, you can negotiate my shit for me.
100%.
One of these days, I'm going to try to do that. But you might freaking run out and get this book, folks, and figure out this dude's already filled with information people need to avoid problems. Dude, I appreciate you coming up here for this.
And thanks for having me so last minute. We just got it booked a couple of weeks ago. So, I've been a big fan of what you're doing and the message and the motivation that you bring to the world, and just keep doing it.
Well, dude, I am. And like I said, see, look at that. Even though it's a new set, man, I think this is the perfect first guest. Folks, like I said, go out and get his book. Follow him at agent_DP, and then princemarketinggroup.com. Dude, appreciate you coming, man. That's awesome.
Dropping bombs with the real Bradley. Subscribe